Well, it is session number 164, and Mr. Art Houtman of the Detroit Tigers says hello. This is Card Room Live. It's not a show, so lower those expectations. It's a hangout for fellow vintage collectors, and whether we have guests or not, whatever we're doing, we're most definitely wasting time looking at and talking about old, crusty cardboard, and through it all, we do try to make it time well wasted. And that's what we'll be doing here for about nearly 5 years now. If you're here with us live, welcome to you. Welcome to my fellow YouTubers, to the folks in the chat, the commenters, the folks from all over social media land. If you're new to Card Room Live, don't be afraid to say hello. You are among cardboard friends. We like to think that this is the live stream where everybody knows your name and that we're always glad you came. It may take us a few tries, but we'll learn your name soon enough. If you're listening to this later, however, you might be going to or coming home from work. Maybe you're at work. I've had a number of people tell me that they listen to Card Room Live while they're at work. I'm not sure how productive they're being at work when listening to Card Room Live, but it's probably easy to tune this out. Maybe you're sorting cards, looking at eBay or auction sites, rolling out those meatballs, walking the dog, sitting on the john, putting the kids to bed. Perhaps you are battling raccoons in the backyard. Perhaps you're wondering, like my buddy Doug, DK Cardboard, if perhaps maybe you're just hanging on to those baseball cards as a distraction to what would otherwise be an existential crisis about the human condition. Maybe you're wondering if Eddie Waitkus will come up in conversation. I believe he already has. Perhaps your other thought is maybe what other Mike Foley we're going to get into tonight. Whatever you might be doing, I do hope you get something out of the next hour. If you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, you can always email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram, bowman53_Alex, on X 1953 Bowman Color, on Blue Sky Bowman53, and of course, all that information can be found right below me in the description. This session of Card Room Live is brought to you by Spalding's official baseball guide. Here's one for your eyeballs. This one's from 1920. A lot to talk about after 1919. Yes, Spalding's official baseball guide, edited by Henry Chadwick, the father of baseball. The best guide ever published. It contains the new rules and pictures of all the leading teams in major and minor leagues, as well as individual action pictures of prominent players. It features the World's Championship. That's right, not the World Series, but the World's Championship, and a complete review of the year in the National and American Leagues for only 10 cents, guys. Both baseball managers and players should send for a copy of Spalding's baseball catalog. Just mail A.G. Spalding and Brothers at 439 Wood Street in New York. And it would be fun to see what would happen if you actually did that. I would imagine not much would happen. So good evening to everybody. Happy daylight savings time. The sun was out a bit longer. And we've got some people in the chat, some people at the bar because the bar is open and Mike is here. And Peter B has ordered a draft. The dog ate my card says that the stupid dog ate my Eddie Waitkus card. You would think by this point you'd keep those cards away from the dog, Andy. Reindeer Studios is here. And all the drinks are on him, apparently. Super generous when it comes to virtual beer. Blue Collar Cards is here. Kurt in Brooklyn, who I'm going to be meeting for the first time in person this week, is here. Sven Patrick is here. Sven, did you get your winnings? I did send out Sven's winnings this week, as I promised I would, finally. Mark Dodgers Cards is here. Clean Cheap Shots is here. The Sports Card Reverie is here. Hodges 1455. The baseball card curmudgeon is here. You're in the right place. You're among the other curmudgeons. Yank Me Cards Steve's is here. Howdy from Tucson. Orlando Collector's Dream is here. Jacob Dahl is here. Coach Neil is here. Mr. Wilhelm. Larry. Melissa, the Sports Guru. Peacemaker Cards. Jay Hawker Vintage Cards is here. A Most Adequate Collection is here. Sportin' Card Collector is here. The greatest team ever won the World's Championship in 1920. Does anybody want to argue with Scott about that. Killer 3 collector Kurt is here. Rip Fan 8 is here. Alex looks taller this week. That's because this computer that I'm using temporarily is lower, so I've lowered my seat. So I've thrown everything off. Dan Vintage Baseball PC is here. Ross Loves Cards is here, and Phil Necro Fan is here. So we've got a great group in the bar. I was about to say the chat, but it's the bar. And I'm sure we'll have some more people coming in momentarily. So let's get started. Tonight's going to be an old-fashioned random session. One of the things that Card Room Live was built on was random sessions. And in those random sessions, what we would often do is look up cards and look around, whether it was eBay or Google or whatever. We would just look up cards and talk about cards. And the idea was just to get inspired by what's out there. And some of the stuff was mainstream stuff, still inspiring, still interesting to look at. And some of the stuff was perhaps more obscure or scarce or rare. But it didn't really matter because it was really just about enjoying the cards and enjoying the process of looking stuff up. And I wanted to get back to that. So I thought, let's do that. But we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. In the past, we would just immediately jump on eBay, and we might still do that. But we're going to start with something different. The first thing that's different is we have somebody to be the color commentator on this. And this is a guy that needs no introduction. So I'm not going to give him one.
Am I allowed to say hello or? Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you an introduction.
Okay. Hi, I'm Max.
Hi, Max. I'll just say that Max is a.
I was really reclined there. The intro went longer, and I just kept sinking down in my chair.
By the time you could have like ended up on the bed.
No.
Max, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction.
Thank you.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. This is a non-alcoholic seltzer.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers. Yours is straight vodka, like I always say in chat.
Straight vodka, yeah.
Straight
yeah.
vodka,
I switched from LaCroix to vodka.
Yeah.
I'm obviously happy that everybody, that gets into the Hall of Fame, but I'm especially happy that it happened for you, man. You've been at it. Again, I like to always talk about this. You started this when you were how old? Your channel?
2008. What does that make me? I don't know.
An oldie?
14? I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm old.
Now you're old,
now
and
I'm
you're
old.
In the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think I got in for just being on these live streams, so I appreciate it.
Well,
Alex
I mean,
couldn't have
maybe
done it without you.
It might have helped keep you in mind, but you got in for your channel, dude.
Well, thank you.
Topstone Cards, glad you're here. Welcome. Max was a little kid when he started.
Yes,
exactly.
That is true. Yeah, I was collecting like Omar Vizquel, Tim Lincecum, and Nate Shearholtz. One of those, a couple of those. One is I was going to say one of those names has aged significantly worse, but I was thinking of Nate Shearholtz, but actually Omar Vizquel has aged horribly. So with my Tim Lincecum stuff I did well. Should have been Mike Trout, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss Tim Lincecum.
Well,
so the other thing we're going to do differently is we're going to start with an old REA auctions catalog. And I don't know about you, Max. Did you ever have REA coming in the mail, like the big bulky catalog?
Oh yeah, I still do.
Okay.
Still do. Yeah, I get in the catalogs, and flip through them and enjoy the weird smell.
Yes, it is a very distinct smell.
Yeah, I think I could sense an REA catalog blindfolded, actually. But yeah, I enjoy looking at the catalogs, even if I don't plan on buying anything. It'll be funny if you pick one out that I have an item in. So we'll see. Yeah,
let's see what happens. So
yeah.
So I went on REA's site, and they obviously have an archive. And what I was hoping to find is what I found, which is that they actually have their catalogs digitized so that you can flip through them virtually like a book.
I'm not getting enough credit for this being my idea. I just want to say that.
I don't think it was your idea.
What you messaged me and said, "Hey Max, what should we do?" And I said, "This is genius."
Did you?
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
remember.
we can, I'll post a video.
Because I pretty much was leaning towards REA, but maybe you confirmed it for me. It was all Max's idea.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull this up, and I found, so this is not about like current auctions. Obviously, we're just looking at stuff for the fun of it. And I used to do this a lot. I don't have any REA catalog. Previous catalogs anymore. I think I lost them in my last move, but I used to love sitting down and looking through those and putting some music on and just sort of like flipping through them. So that's kind of what we're doing in the spirit of that tonight. So let's pull this up. So here it is. It's the spring 2023.
Oh, okay. What's his name on the cover? Just kidding.
Old what's his name? So I'm going to keep my eye on the chat as best I can. It's going to be a little tough for me. So Max, if you see anything interesting,
I'll try to. I'll keep my left eye on it and my right eye on the catalog. I have the chat on my second monitor. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at the chat.
Gotcha.
If you see me not looking there, that means I'm ignoring the chat.
If I don't hear anything, it means you've fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a Honus Wagner. I guess they got a 3 in this auction.
Yes, they did.
Or they just sold one. Yeah,
they just sold one
auction before. What a beautiful card. I remember that one. Yeah, that's what happens when you post when you're that age. 2008. That was a long time ago. Someone's commenting on my old videos. That is a Ruth that if I had unlimited money, I would love to. Not an 8. I would never want an 8. I would feel quite strange having that, but just any.
You'd feel like a different person.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of that Ruth, but if I could have one, I'm sure I would feel differently.
The reason I like it is when I look at it, I like to think about what he might have under his hat.
Oh yeah, because his hat does look bulky.
I just think just contemplate on that.
Yeah, and if you had the card, you'd think more about it, I'm sure. Yeah. I agree.
This is a bad podcast for me to be on, because you could literally show me any card and I'll talk for like 3 minutes, even if I mean I have nothing to talk about with it. Like, this is dangerous.
No, I think that's exactly why I was.
Had me
that's
on.
what I was hoping would happen. We're not going to get past like through 10 pages.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I like this Joe card. I don't want a 9. I can't have a 9 even if I did, but I do want to get this Joe card at some point.
One thing I'll say about like these hypothetical scenarios is, like, I always think, yeah, I would take a 9, and people are like, oh yeah, I would love it. I was like, I would love to sell it and buy a 1 or something. Like, never in my head, it's never me keeping a card like that, because it just is not like practical. So I don't know. That's a whole nother can of worms.
I agree. So here's some more of these sort of astronomical cards. I feel like all REA auction books start with these like pristine, scary looking vintage cards.
Yeah, these ones are inaccessible for sure. Can I say something controversial about the 49 Bowman Jackie Robinson?
Okay, I'm gonna put my finger on the boot you.
They airbrushed his jersey too much. His armpit looks weird. Yeah,
no, it's true. I mean,
it's like I think that wasn't where it was, and they're just like, hey, it looks like he's too wide. Let's draw an armpit.
Well, we can find the original. In fact, the original photograph is probably in this catalog somewhere too.
Maybe.
No, it's true, and I think a lot of the 49 Bowman cards, because of the way that they were processed, have strange quirks like that.
Yeah.
And it's weird though, because some of them I just conveniently ignore. Like this one, I don't really. Yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying, and I've seen it many times, but I just sort of conveniently don't pay attention to it. And then there are other ones where I notice it and it really bothers me. This one doesn't bother me for some reason. I don't
No
think that's
notes on the 53 tops. No notes. That's a flawless card.
It's all right. It's all right.
Flawless. Are we gonna? You're saying we're not gonna make it to page 10? Is it because we're fighting over our card opinions?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, also
not even. It's not even. We're just like we're done with 10 pages. 5 minutes in, we're just. I'm gonna fly and fight you.
B-Roth is here, so
Hello, Brian.
He'll keep the peace. It looks like he's wearing like like he's going into a gunfight. Yes, he's got his holster. Still want one of those 49 Bowman jackies, probably well beyond my capability to afford one at this point. It's crazy how much those have shot up, but keep the hope alive, Jay, and look at ones and twos, and I forget what mine is. I think mine's a 3 or a 4, but I got mine like 10 years ago, so it's rough. Okay, some more scary cards.
Yeah.
Mint 9s.
Why don't you skip to the pre-war stuff? Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, I to be honest.
Oh my gosh!
I usually do skip these ones.
So the silver, if you ever see an SGC card with that silver label, that was a thing they were doing temporarily, where they were cutting sheets. So that was on a sheet. That's why it's a sheet cut, and they cut the sheet up, and they were doing it like professionally, and they gave it grades because they're the one that cut it. I don't think they're doing it anymore, and I hope they're not doing it. And also, shame on whoever cut up the Ramley sheet. In my opinion, obviously.
Yeah,
so
that's insane. I did not know that was happening.
Yeah, it was right when they announced like the new design of the holders is when they were starting to do that. I had a funny interaction. I was at the SGC booth at the National. I think this was 2019, and I was like doing a consignment, and I was obviously talking too much to the person. And the guy came up and he's like, "Hey, are you doing this sheet cutting still?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're still doing it." And he's like, "Yeah, I have like, I forget the number I'm gonna make, because it was something crazy. It was like, yeah, I have like 5,000 sheets to cut," and they just like left me like for the big fish. No shot at that. Like, I don't blame them. We weren't talking about like anything serious, but it just really was funny to be like, "Oh, hey, this is like big money over here." Anyway, fun stuff. I'm glad Brian's saying they're not doing that anymore, so that's good. It was a really odd thing for them to do.
Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't more controversy.
I think there was.
This is a nice Gehrig.
Yeah, I'm getting more into the exhibits these days as my want list gets smaller. Like, love photos, the photos on it. So
right. Skip.
I know so much about football.
Do you?
know?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Walter Payton, Jimmy Graham.
Yep, great running backs. Next page. That's all that needs to be said. Basketball. Know even more about basketball. Is this going well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, good.
Unopened stuff.
And the sealed wax stuff has just like gone crazy. It's yeah. It's like the sealed video games too. I don't know what kid just got that and just didn't open it up. It's crazy. Crazy to think about.
I totally agree.
These are awesome. I have one Type 1 photograph and love it to death. Well, I have two actually. I have one of Larry Doyle, and I have one of Charles Victory Faust, which I've shown on a video recently. They are so cool. I think anyone who has like a player collection should get at least one Type 1 photograph of their guy from this era. I don't know if you could find the Pee Wee Reese photo, but that would be probably extremely expensive, but also a stunner.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's not too hard to find. I was actually just looking at, it's not quite the same, but like the team issued photos. There's a lot of that stuff in the 50s. That's great. But
Yeah.
and this is Charles Conlon, so
Yeah.
you can't beat that. Great shot.
There's a great now maybe someone in the chat can take me off the screen for a second. Alex, I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Okay. Here we go.
He's gone. He may never come back. We're not afraid of silence on this live stream. Max, are you ready?
I'm here. Seeing this reminded me of a book that doesn't get talked about enough. If you could put me up on full screen. This is Baseball Photography of the Deadball Era by Jim Chapman. This is a massive book. It is probably bigger than an REA catalog, which is really saying something. But it is just full of just anything you would ever want to know about Type 1 photographs, including the stamps on the back. It has great images that you will never see anywhere. I don't know anyone else who has a copy.
What's other stuff?
Yeah. So anyway, I figured you had it, but anyway, if anyone in the chat doesn't have it, it is just a gorgeous book. Highly recommend for those of you who have a huge baseball book collection. I feel like it's not complete without that one. It's just a really great thing. Yeah, I turned around to set the book down, and then you left me alone, and then I was like, I wish I still had the book in my hand.
Oh, you put the book away?
Because I could be showing it. But anyway.
Well, let's take a moment, and I'm just going to show some photographs from here. Like, this is okay. We don't have to stick with the REA. Here's one that's kind of nice. Just randomly found this photograph.
Yeah, there you go. The famous Cobb image.
Yep. Sliding into a Chicago White Sox player, unidentified.
Those are the types of photographs. So like for my students, they'll ask me like about like old school baseball terminology just because they know.
Because they're trying to get you off topic.
Yeah, they're trying to get me. Well, I do PE, so it's not that bad. But
okay, yeah.
So I like the idea of like, oh, why do people call the bases sacks? It's like that Ty Cobb image is like the perfect one to show them. It's just like a burlap sack of whatever's in there.
This book also does a pretty good job of making the connections between the cards and the photographs. So here's the very famous Walter Johnson image, which of course is Crack and Jack.
That's a great exhibit. It has that image on it. Oh, I like your shirt. I just noticed your shirt.
Yeah, it was an honor of you, man.
Nice. Well, and the hat.
Yeah.
I need to use my live platform on here to talk to the hat manufacturers to make just like a nice New York Giants hat.
Go ahead here.
Here's your. No, that was my whole spiel. I can't get one. I can't. I don't want a flat brim. I want to. They call it a dad hat now. What we wear, Alex. What does that mean? Like, what does that say about me? That I'm like, oh, I wish I had a dad hat. Anyway.
What is this? Detroit Tigers versus Boston Red Sox, 1909. Boston's Heine Wagner scores as a collision knocks Easterly's glove off.
Oh yeah, the glove flying in the air. The photographer took that photo and then was like, "Man, I hope I got the glove flying in the air," and then had to wait 2 days to find out.
I hope something came out.
That turned out. Yeah, crazy. Have you talked? You've talked about this book, right, on the live stream?
Yeah, briefly.
What does that mean? Are you an Upper West Side guy? Oh no, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan that likes the history of baseball. So I live in California.
Yeah, neither of us have any like real strong
Upper West Coast side.
Upper West Coast side. Yes. Here's some more card versus photograph examples.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if
I know the guy who has that the Elam photo, and when I was doing my collages
oh yeah,
that I was doing, I did that for him. I overlaid that one. It's a really cool one. I've given you an idea for a video. Nice.
Lots of fun with that book. You can just do the entire book at some point. Let's
Yeah.
get back to the
obviously the Gibson on the other page.
yeah,
Fantastic too.
oops, sorry. Let's go back.
We were talking about like photograph sources for cards. That's a great
Right.
one.
Absolutely. Great shot. I'm just reading it here.
It was riveting.
I was curious if they had any information about exactly where this photograph was taken, but it
Somewhere with a really tall chain link fence.
yeah. I bet you could somebody could identify the stadium.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Here's a Jackie. 1947.
I think it's interesting how they date these photographs. And I've also seen them use Type 1 photographs for matching game use memorabilia. There's always those questions about like, oh, how do you know this is a game use bat? And I think that's a cool thing that's happening now about like matching them to Type 1 photographs. It's a lot of work, but definitely a cool thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
Very time consuming. That's a great piece.
Yeah.
My bucket list pickup, I think, would be a Mathewson autograph. I don't know what it would have to be on a check, like a old check or something like that. Just a rare signature.
The notation is won at a luncheon, September 30th, 1921. A benefit for Maddie at the Polo Grounds by Mrs. John J. McGraw.
It's a lot of the signed baseballs that I see are all like charity events. It's super interesting. They had a Mathewson game too, and it was like they gave out a certain amount of signed baseballs, and it's responsible for a lot of the known examples from what I know. It's kind of an interesting deal. Without that, there would be just like so many less examples of signed baseballs.
Sure. You're giving people ideas, Max.
Yeah, I don't know what I said. It'd be interesting. It'd be funny if it's like least favorite, like he posts a video like worst YouTubers in the sports card Hall of Fame or something like that. Yeah. Max, you've given me an idea.
1920, and I love when with the quotations around Babe. It's great.
I mean, his signature. I don't know, like it's impossible to know this, but I feel like if Babe Ruth wasn't like famous, like the most famous baseball player ever, I would still be like, that's a really cool autograph. He just has a cool signature. I want to say that that's true, but also it's impossible to know because it's so iconic that it's hard to like look at it objectively. So I don't know. I think it is kind of transcends, but who knows?
You're right, but especially when you compare it to baseball signatures today, all of which are pretty terrible.
I could do a check mark on a page and it would pass GSA for a couple of players that I've seen.
All right, now we're getting into your sweet spot. We made it, Max.
Yeah. You're talking about cabinet photos, right?
Well, just old. Really old.
Really old cards. Do you know why I made my Instagram that, or
No.
why I made it? Okay, so I made my Instagram. My Instagram is really old cards. Don't go and follow it, please. I don't post. I made it number one. This was when Brian was like before he had started Card Soup, and I thought it would be really funny because he really liked Instagram at the time. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering the wrong thing, but I basically made it and was doing like really clickbaity posts to try and pass Brian in followers, and then the real thing that pushed me over was SGC used to give out 10% off coupons like to people who tag them, so I just like constantly try and get a coupon from them. And that was those were my two main motivating factors for making Instagram, and now it's just kind of there. So anyway,
But it's accurate. I mean, really, really old cards.
so I do want to highlight, if you go to the bottom left corner of the second page,
Yeah.
Huntley and Palmer.
Yes.
This is a great set. We talked about that
That's
on our
right.
history of baseball. Such a fun card. That card has exploded in value. I would be interested to know what this lot sells for. I have almost a couple complete sets of that. I've been importing them. We don't have to look. I think that's just a whole nother
Well, let me pull up
thing about the Boucher gold coins are a really fun set. I have a really old SGC. Is he frozen? Is he frozen for everybody else? Just me? Oh, there we go. You're using up too much RAM. Going.
No, I just froze.
Yeah. Yeah, great card. Beautiful card. The more I learn about these, and I want to say I've had four or five of them, because for those of you who don't know, like I like become a big importer of foreign sets, and I actually started my own Facebook group. I didn't ask Alex if I could plug it, but I have a Facebook group for vintage foreign trade cards.
Are you an importer exporter?
Not officially. I don't have my Seinfeld reference card.
Okay.
Thank you. No, you thought you had me. No, but I've had a ton of these, and I'm thinking that they're misidentified as 1878. And I haven't talked about it yet, but anyway, we can get into that another time.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so that would be interesting if I could make all the cards less valuable by making them
It would be really
by exposing them as newer. Yeah. Getting back to the gold coins, the one to the right of that, I have a really fun. It's a SGC. It's an old SGC holder. I would love to get reholdered, but it says Piano Legs Gore. They have his nickname Piano Legs on the SGC slab, and they won't do that anymore. So I have this like old ratty SGC holder where it says Piano Legs Gore on it, and I will never get it reholdered just because I think it's like just fantastic, just a fantastic label on a card. And then it looks like maybe in a serving tray. That is so interesting. They were just doing whatever with cards back in the day. Do you see that bottom right? Someone lined the bottom of a dinner tray. That would be quite the display piece on your wall, Alex.
Put that right. Or maybe when you have guests over for tea, you know.
Yes. Those cards are real interesting looking too. So not only would you have a tray, like a dinner tray to draw the eye, but you have some very unique cards.
Conversation starter.
Yeah.
I think these are really fun. Like if you were motivated to do it, these sort of obscure local team CDVs, and just make a little PC of them.
Yeah, I think if one was dedicated enough, you could go and find just like baseball imagery in a lot of old photos.
Yeah.
The ones that obviously are called out as having baseball in them sell for more, but occasionally you can get kind of lucky with imagery that you see in the background of photos and things like that. I've seen not this early, obviously, but I've seen some photos where it has interesting connections. So that's for someone else who has more time, but yeah.
Yeah, there was a Saber presentation. I can't remember when it was, maybe a couple of years ago, where the guy found a photograph that actually is like the only photographic evidence of a Elysian Fields game.
Okay.
In like towards the end of its use as like
Yeah.
a leisure grounds. But yeah, and it was probably just in some local, you
Yeah.
know,
Do you remember the article about the Moonlight Graham autographs? The
no,
person thought so he was a doctor just like in the movie, and then he started working at a school as like the school nurse slash doctor, like he was on staff. And Moonlight Graham autographs are quite scarce, and this guy had the idea to go buy yearbooks of the school, and he bought up all of the yearbooks that he could find from the era that Moonlight Graham was working at the school. And he kept it to himself until he had like I don't remember the numbers, but it was like he had like 3 or 4 signed Moonlight Graham yearbooks, and then it was like he just like kind of put it out there. So yeah, the opportunities are still out there. You just got to think about it before anyone else.
right.
Yeah, Pud Galvin is not only an old time name, but I think in his previous life he was a pit bull. He's very square.
Yes.
Yeah, he's unmistakably Pud Galvin at all times. I wish I knew more about Old Judges. There's a fantastic Old Judge book. I've had it. I've looked through it briefly.
It's kind of
But
overwhelming, right? Like there's just so
it's
much.
super overwhelming. I mean, you flip to a page and you're like, oh, let me look up my Bud McPhee and see what, and then there's like 7 different ones, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And well, it doesn't really show it on these labels, but like these cards have numbers, and it'll be like 347B-2 or what, like there's all these like crazy qualifiers. And I shouldn't, like I'm commenting on this, like I don't do that for the T206 set, but the Old Judge is just, it's super intimidating to me. Even with all of knowing what I know about like Orlando said, over 5,000. It's just crazy.
Right.
I have one Old Judge, and it was kind of funny because I always wanted a Giants card, and I bought one. Super excited. It was a horizontal, which are tougher from that era. Most cards are vertical. Blah blah blah. He's in a Giants uniform. He's sliding. Horizontal card. I'm like, so cool. I get it in hand, and I go, oh, this is the not the Oakland, the Athletics variation. Like he had changed teams. So he's in the Giants uniform on the picture, but then it says Athletics on the bottom. And I've just never gotten over that. And I don't like looking at it because it's like one of the most boneheaded things I've done.
Wow.
So yeah.
I like this long and short.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that was a mascot card. I talked briefly about Victory Faust, but they used to just have like kids in full uniform, and it would just say mascot. So interesting stuff. The fact that glass negatives exist is crazy. Yeah. Little insight into the process.
I remember, I think it's in the Civil War Ken Burns series where they talk about how a lot of the glass plates from and now I'm blanking on the photographer's name, Brady, that took all the really famous Civil War photograph, Matthew Brady, would end up being used for gardens. What's the, I can't,
like a greenhouse or something?
For a greenhouse. Yeah, they would just use all the plates. That is
fascinating. Yeah.
And so little by little the sun would fade the photograph away, or the negative away, I guess. Yeah, because why would you keep it?
Yeah, why? That's why all this stuff is so expensive, because why would you keep it? Exactly. I always use the example of like the Dixie lids. Like if I saved the paper cap of a milk jug, like if you saw someone, like say you're at work, you're, you know, your colleague, you see them take the paper tab off something and put it in their pocket, you'd be like, hey, don't
Yeah,
talk
what
to
are you
him.
doing?
Don't talk to that guy. But here we are. Oh, that the Kalamazoo bats. As a fan of mustaches myself, it's just unmatched. I feel like that we need to bring those back. I wish I could grow one.
New York Giants outfielder Mike Dorgan, particularly rare card in the set. Why can't I zoom out? There we go.
Whoa.
Cool. So here's a team card. Whoops.
That's cool, Orlando. It's all dusty probably, but I have this. Orlando just since dust.
Oh yeah.
This is from a newspaper. You can see the cards right down here coming out of the cigarette pack. I got this and it was like dirt cheap. We're talking like under $10 shipped. I don't know if they're still that cheap, but like, man, the cool factor on that is way more.
Absolutely.
Way more.
I love all that stuff. It just adds.
We are looking at like spring of 23. Alex got the idea from someone who's really smart and to go through an old catalog, and so he just picked one at random. Some say it was me, some don't. They would be wrong.
Yeah, you know,
all right, keep turning the page, Alex. I don't want you uncovering evidence that can prove me wrong.
Very cleverly deleted the first part of the message, so there's no on my end. There's no part of the history.
I have it. I'll
but
come with the receipts.
On Friday at 2:19 p.m., I said I found old REA catalogs that you can virtually flip through. It will be fun, and you said yes. I'll go in blind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the second half of the conversation. We won't get into it. We won't get it. It's not about who was right, me. It's not about that.
Okay,
these are great trade cards. The set, yeah. The top one in the middle has fantastic imagery. There's a lot of comedic images there with the sliding, and obviously you have like the thrill of victory bottom right. These ones can be had. It's a little bit north of $100 a piece now, depending on the condition. But yeah, I'm seeing them less. I'm seeing them less now. I think as like cigarette cards and that kind of thing, they just go up in value. It's kind of like the rising tide raises all boats situation where I mean, because I've kind of done the same thing, not necessarily with sports, but we've seen the explosion of non-sport. And I think that for people who love history and love this era of cards and what they look like and what they feel like and the way that they're made, it's just like, okay, where do I go from here? And trade card for those who don't want to go to non-sport, trade cards to me are kind of just like we're seeing that just explode. I want to shout out Collector Not Hoarder on YouTube, Tom. He's got a great channel. He talks a lot about trade cards, underappreciated on YouTube. So if you want to learn more about trade cards, check him out.
Yeah, and I think it's also, isn't it also perhaps that a lot of people like yourself are either finished with building something or are close to finished. Yeah, when you're like kind of winding down with a build,
yeah,
you're not getting cards as often, and so you need something else.
Well, I mean, that's how I built the whole T206 set. I said I was just going to do the Giants team set, and then the white cap Christy Mathewson was really, really hard to get at that time. The T206 set kind of just goes like that, where there'll be a card where it's just impossible to get a nice copy of. and that was the white cap at the time that I was almost done. And I just said, hey, I'm gonna hold out for a nice copy of the white cap, and while I'm doing that, let me just buy a couple of the cards that I like.
Right.
And then I was like, I bought a Zach Wheat, and I bought a Walter Johnson pitching, and then I went through and I was like, okay, how many cards do I dislike? And it was like 3, and I was like, okay, well, let me just keep going with it. And then so yeah.
Tell you what, looking at all these old Judges, especially these cabinets, makes me want to get another one. It's been a while since I've looked at them. I like this Hugh Duffy.
I'm seeing a collection or a question from Steve. I don't have any unopened cigarette packs, especially ones with T206 inside. I think it is such a bad idea. We're seeing videos. I think we saw Ken Golden open a pack of cigarette cards recently. I don't watch his show, so I'm not quite sure how recently it was, but you literally have no idea if there is a card in there.
Right.
And then on top of that, it very easily could be a fish or a bird. Just it's like probably even more likely that it is like you open it up and you get a, man, I'm so glad I got a PSA 7 of a fish,
Right.
It's not a good idea. Anyway.
Yeah, and why not preserve it, because there's no evidence of that stuff.
And I think I want to say there's like $20,000 buy-in at this point for a period proper like pack. This is the catalog, the Champion of Sports and Games. Yep. Orlando has some great videos on these. These are albums that you would send away for with the coupons, and if one were to flip through it, they would see like all the cards from the Kimball Champions of Sports set with additional art. That's just fantastic. So I think I don't have a resource for this, but if you were to go to like Old Heritage Archives or maybe even REA, you can look through the books, and the art is just absolutely fantastic on these. It's a large format. It's bigger than a Turkey Red in a lot of cases, at least longer. Are you going to show one that you have?
Well, I don't think this is from the year prior, so I don't know if it's associated with this album or not, but this is the 1887 W.S. Kimball Champions. E.A. Birch of the Brooklyn, I forget what the name of the team was at the time. I don't know if it's Tip Tops or whatever.
It's a great card.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's not as good as the Champion Boy Boxer card that I showed recently.
Nothing beats that.
Yeah. What about the Champion Cannonball Catcher card? That is just, I need to get one of those. That is a fantastic card, Alex. Don't let me give you a hard time on that one. That is a stunner.
Okay. Yes, I agree, Orlando.
All right, let's start flipping through some pages, Alex. We're at page 45. Let's get to 100.
That's pretty good. We've got 10 minutes left. We don't have to rush.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying rush. I don't want people to say we didn't do anything. If anyone complains, it's Alex's fault.
That's right. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
if you're not having a good time, guys, you can give us a thumbs down, and
if you give a thumbs up, it's because of me.
Sure, I'm okay with that.
We know.
Check this out. I don't
love the old catcher's gear.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, that's kind of great for an old Judge card.
Great shot at the glove, too.
Mm-hmm. Look at this one. He's really waiting for that ball to get to him before he takes a swing.
I'm just imagining like being in there and then like any wind coming in and balls moving, and it's like that's why it's a little blurry there or something like that. It's just like, hey man, you need to not breathe in the direction of the ball that's on the fishing line, because it's not going to turn out. A couple more of the albums. Great stuff. Great stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen this one with the guy in the trumpet here.
Yeah. Okay,
Different covers.
that's why. Well, it's the second series of the World Champions set, so I
Right.
bet you that one's less common. I've never seen it either, but that doesn't mean it's rare. For sure. That the round pages with colors, just oh man, stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic.
I like this sort of sporting news. It has the monochromatic kind of watercolor look to
Mhm.
it. It's nice.
Yeah, they're really cool in person. Great printing detail on them.
Oh yeah, John Ward right in the middle.
Super
That's cool.
interesting collages back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Actual Photoshop with scissors. The
Yeah,
dudes
right.
going in there. That's just crazy. Crazy to think about what they went through to make all these cards. I feel like I'm saying crazy a lot. These old cards really are crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Sums it
when you
up.
get down to it. You get down to it. When you think about all the entire process of just through manufacturing, carving into limestone for each color pass and all this kind of stuff, like these
Right.
huge, just heavy stones. It's just, man,
They went for it.
insane,
Where's the
insane
Goodwin
process.
Champions King Kelly on your list of like
Best cards of all
best
time.
cards?
Oh, I don't know. I like the Tim Keefe more
Really?
from the same set. Yeah, and it's not because I have one.
Has nothing to do with it.
Has nothing to do with that. One thing that I feel like not enough people talk about with these old cards, like the old judges, the Ginters, the Mayo cut plugs, those cards are so thick. They
Mhm.
are just it's a sheet of cardboard. I almost think it should be impossible for them to have a wrinkle, but then maybe someone got beat with one. They were just like, "Whoa," and that's what happened. But it's like a thick sheet of cardboard. It is not like the cards we have today. They're the first time I held a raw. I mean, it's like twice as thick as a T206. These cards, like the first time I held an old Ginter card, it's like, is this right? Is this two cards stuck together? It's an interesting thing to see. It must have been so expensive too.
To produce, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was on my way to the national, I guess a couple years ago now, I
Are you going this year?
no,
Putting you on the spot. Okay.
no. Hopefully next year or Strongsville. I'm not sure which. But I went from Savannah to Atlanta, and I was waiting for my connecting flight in Atlanta to Cleveland. And while I was at the airport at my gate, I ran into Alan from Alan's Cards, and we were chatting and probably looking up stuff, and we were probably being fairly loud about it and saying, you know, words like Bowman and Tops and T206 and whatever. And so then like a guy kind of across from us was like, "Oh, are you guys going to the Nationals?" Like, "Yep." And so it turned out to be, I think he was well, I don't know if he was a dealer or if he was just, I don't know, he was somehow associated with a dealer or something, but he's like talking about his collection. He's like, "Yeah, I don't have anything, but at one point he had built the Mayo's cut plug entire set."
Yeah,
And he said like,
monster.
"Oh yeah, I did that like 25 years ago or something." And I don't have it anymore, but
Yeah.
okay, you
I
don't run
don't
into a
have
Mayo
any.
cut plug
Yeah.
collector every day.
I was at a modern mall show like 2 months ago. 90% Pokemon and TCG. And I stop at a table that only has vintage, and guy's talking about how he has a 521. And it's, you don't run into people. Like this was just a local mall show. It's kind of happy coincidence. I had my nephew with me, so we didn't like sit and talk because he was bored. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine. Huey Jennings and his great 1907 Tigers. Oh, so this is just a.
Yeah, this is the.
So tell you what, Max, if this if this session doesn't get completely thumbs down by the entire community, we might just pick up here in the
On the
future.
same catalog.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. Do people like this?
Yeah, did you guys like this?
So can we quickly just go? I want to highlight one interesting thing. The second page in the very middle, there's a Giants real photo postcard that you're not going to be able to see. But I came across one that had been sent to France. I didn't get to buy it because it was no longer for sale, but I thought that was so fascinating. Someone was, I mean, it was in French, so I can only assume what they were talking about, but it's very interesting to know what items made it over. And I would, a lot of people talk about like how they don't want their postcards to be brand new. They want it to have some writing on it.
Yeah.
I would want the one that got sent to France because somebody thought it was so interesting. They wanted to tell a French person about this baseball team. Imagine like trying to like explain what's happening on a postcard. Like, anyway, so
where did you come
wrap
across
it up.
that?
On a source that I don't want to disclose when
okay, so it wasn't like eBay or whatever.
No, it wasn't eBay. Yeah. It was like on this archive thing. And I'm sorry to be cagey. I'm paying for my college tuition with importing these cards. True story.
Right. Well, all right.
Man.
At least everybody's being nice and saying that they're enjoying this.
Yeah.
So we'll do this again sometime, Max. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I like to pretend it's going poorly. So
yeah,
that's just my personality. Yeah.
No, I assume
I had fun. I
always assume these are not going well. So
yeah,
we'll just continue with that trend. Max, thanks for jumping on. We'll do this again another time.
Absolutely.
Until next Sunday night, guys, the bar is closed. Go jump onto 4 Collectors. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.